3, 2, 1. YouTube.com, Jamestown, California. I'm going to do this take while I'm doing my next thing here. And I'm going to start off by talking about Tucker Carlson and your show last night and the broadcast bringing up the Syria campaign. And I know your stance is, Tucker, regarding that whole issue. And I was able to debunk the fact that slowing down testing was grounds of impeachment when President Trump admitted that in the rallies. That was Memorial Day. And now the huge, big, giant media using the same idea and premise now late in the game as a big punch in the face. Number one, the media not covering reports when they're actually happening. Tucker, you did talk about those chemical or the chemical weapons attack that the Democrats were all ready to jump into the war in Syria. Now, in the Syria campaign, even before that attack, the United States should have went into the United Nations and demanded a resolution and stopped the entire massacre of those civilians before it got to that point. And the prior administration did not do that. The strength of the United States is when there are crises that do cross the line. In order to keep us safe, we need to assist free people, and we did not help free people in Syria. What you guys did in the media was exactly what's happening now with COVID-19, and the fact that I reported in March, April, asking all the news outlets the question, ABC, CBS, Fox, is this COVID-19 replacing the flu in some people where people would normally get the flu this time of year or every 3 years? Are we now getting COVID? Simple question. It was on some of the channels after I pointed it out online, and they decided to censor YouTube channels, not specifically where I heard that, but I already knew that was what was happening. And my concern is when you're not telling the truth or lagging on the truth or taking too long to give us the truth, and then you want to put one of your famous people there to get the credit. That's what this Bob Woodward's book's all about. The Bob Woodward's book that he had the information that I'm talking about right now, I had no idea that he even had those interviews with the President of the United States, because I wasn't given the information because he held on to those tapes. Had I known and had that information, I would have been able to question what was directly talked about. And what was directly talked about? Well, it's kind of 50-50, iffy. And by the way the Democrats went about using my idea, and I call it media idea sharing, when they go on someone else's channel, steal their idea, and then reproduce it as their own. And that's what they do. They've done it to JamestownCaliph.com since I've opened up the website. I even had to take down my major website that I was getting 4,000 visitors a day because they continue to rip off every little idea that I put together on my YouTube show. Get Smart, Terminator 2. Those are just 2 movies. Nixon. Those are 3 movies all in the same year. I can give an example without actually going into the channel. My concern is the Syria campaign, and all Fox cared about was the Iraq enemy that crossed the border. Acted like you guys did something, and the whole time you left Bashar Assad in power, and you were just fighting his enemies for him. They were all on his team. No one goes and crosses anything in that country without that fashion knowing about it. That's including 9/11. 9/11, if it was done by the people that they say it was done, means that the government of Syria knew about it, because nothing goes through their group without them knowing about it, because you could see the proof of how they just destroy anyone and everyone that's disagreeing with their system of government. And it's not human what we've seen in the Syria campaign. The fact that Tucker Carlson, as a broadcaster, not objective at all. I understand part of your objectivity, you do not want the United States to be involved in foreign conflicts, and neither do I. And it's up to the government to decide when they want to bring home the troops. But I'll tell you what I see right now. While Donald Trump is asking the forces from Iraq and Afghanistan to come home right at the end of the election, is because the Democrats have been putting this idea out that if Donald Trump does win the election, that they're going to actually go out and fight about it. And this is dangerous. And this is similar to what Abraham Lincoln did in the Civil War when the South was gaining ground and winning that war. The unreported wins. That President Lincoln asked all his troops to just stop what you're doing, come home, we're going to get you brand new equipment, brand new uniforms, and we're going to start over, and this time we're going to really do it correctly, not do it half-ass. That's what the former president taught us in battle. And it's funny because the Democrats are trying to erase our history. And I was studying that topic. It's a very, very great part of studying, and they're trying to remove everything about it. It's just unbelievable. Getting back to the topic, Tucker, not talking about the chemical weapons attacks. 217 were confirmed. Now, if you want to say that one was not confirmed or one was debunked, that makes it 216. I have the videos or the photographs of people that were there on the ground as sources in multiple cities. They didn't just make up what happened. If that was a rebel attack, the one that you're talking about, those rebels were suited up as rebels working for the regime to confuse the issue, knowing that President Obama did a red line, and then flexing their muscles saying, well, what are you going to do about it? And then what did we do about it? We sat there and listened to Tucker Carlson. Hey, I understand you want to sit there and be a wuss, and you're not the person that should be talking about, going to war, and nobody really is. But when it comes down to our people, free people, those are our people down there. Those are American people that speak English, British, French, white people. And the fact that you don't want to go and at least investigate it, and then you always talk about it against the viewer, knowing that that's an important issue to me. Let's just say that your one was not that happened. What about the other 216 or 215? Where do we draw the line? We don't. And the fact our weakness is going to cause us to get invaded and overwhelmed because you're not strong enough, media. You're weak. I can't tell you how afraid or unsafe I feel knowing the information right now. The fact that you guys did not do anything in the Syria campaign, not even go to the UN for a resolution to stop the bombing of schools and hospitals. And then there's no press about it. And then you want to dispute the little press that there is because you didn't have the money or gall to go down there yourself. You're always over in Israel where it's safe. You're not in Syria reporting. Hideous. Absolutely hideous. And the army does things on their own. They don't need public opinion. If they feel that we're being unsafe from something that's happening over there, they're going to react. And that's where we're at. They want to do something while the president wants to do nothing because of this election. Now bringing home the troops. I mean, isn't there like an idea or plan to change hands and redo the police down there before you just decide to do the Obama strategy, Mr. President? Telling everybody, making the announcement, yeah, we do want to leave. Anyway, my opinion doesn't matter, is how I look at it. And I have the information, so you could do whatever you want with the information. I could sit there and watch your guys' show for kicks and giggles, do MTV videos, but I'm not getting anything out of it. Because when I see that you're not telling us that this COVID-19 does replace the flu in some people in March and April, and then you don't tell us until late in the game or middle in the game, and they want to throw the whole question out that President Trump said this and said that. You guys had the opportunity months ago to talk about this issue. That scares me. What that tells me, if we were invaded, it would take maybe a week or 2 weeks to actually get it on the broadcast, and they'd already be on the ground. That's what it tells me. And that's what's going to end up happening. Because we're not doing anything in the Syria campaign and allowing a criminal to remain in power and not have elections. Our elections suck. I bet you they could have better, more accurate, and free elections with the war happening than we can. With municipals, with states, with cities, with bombs. That they're that much more smarter than we are. That's how I feel. Because I know the information. You just don't want to give them a chance to be. It's hideous. As a U.S. president, the first thing I would do is have Iran have elections. If they don't want to have elections, they would have to have a resolution for that regime to step down, become the army, and have some other group be in charge of Iran. That would also go with Syria. That's what I would do. If they wouldn't comply, in 11 minutes, I would get everybody ready to go, and then I would get my forces ready to go, and it would only take 11 minutes, and Iran would be no more. And if Syria wants to go at it, it would be 22 minutes. Only because I would need my red, white, and blue in there while the people are going to liberate. You're going to have to put the red, white, and blue there for me helping you. That's how it's going to be. Because there's a lot of money to be made down there. Lindsey Graham's already making money making oil deals. Why can't everyone else? Put the municipals, have votes, have laws, have the 3 branches of government, have an army. They're very sophisticated. You just don't want to give them a chance. And then Vladimir Putin. You want to poison your rivals? Same thing. CCP, same thing. You want to go in Taiwan's airspace? Same thing. Although you might take a little longer, I already know how that would turn out. All my Democrats are going to go out and do all my work for me. They don't want to love and like the United States. They're going to have to earn their freedom. Because that's what it's going to take, in my opinion, instead of this crap that I've been seeing. That's what I would do. You're going to sit there and lie and do this, and Joe Biden lie and do that. None of it's true. So I'm telling you what I would do. 11 minutes. Mullahs, gone. Just like that. That would end the crisis in Iran, Iraq, and in Syria, and in Lebanon. That would bring peace to Israel and the United Emirates, and then the Saudi Arabians could be by themselves. They're independent, where no one goes in there and bothers them. That's how it should be, including Kuwait. Instead of this non-peace. You need to bring peace through strength. It would take only 12,000 Army Green Berets to go into Syria, hand out food and medicine, and then that war would stop. Without even firing a bullet. You would have elections, and then you would work its way out, the administration that's there. If they don't like it and they want to start bombing schools, then you have the right to do what you're going to do. If they start shooting at our boys, then you have the right to engage. That's how it should be, not the Tucker Carlson, oh God, oh my God. Really, Tucker? Peace through strength. Because if we don't use peace through strength, the media is not going to report. They're going to cross through Taiwan, the CCP, and then they're going to come in amphibious here in California, Oregon, areas where it's not populated, and they're going to work their way in. And we're not going to even know it because you're not reporting on it. You're not smart enough to report on it. You probably don't even know areas where that's probably already happening for immigration purposes. I'm going to leave the take right there. Peace through strength, not through weakness. Tucker, your show last night absolutely sucked. It's no wonder I stopped watching your show. And I reported that certain things that you got in trouble for this year, I reported it in December, but I privated those videos just out of respect for you. But obviously it didn't do any good. So this is what happened in my viewership yesterday. I watched Special Report, I watched the story, and then I watched Tucker with doing the music videos. However, I'm not going to waste my time watching the 5 o'clock show anymore. Just because you wear a green tie and I like the colors, I gave you a chance. But that report yesterday was just not news. It's just opinion. 5 o'clock, we need news. You could do your opinion afterwards. In the way I look at it. YouTube.com, Jamestown, California.